The University of Glasgow is the fourth oldest university in the English-speaking world and one of Scotland's four ancient universities. It was founded in 1451. Along with the University of Edinburgh, the university was part of the Scottish Enlightenment during the 18th century. It is currently a member of Universitas 21, the international network of research universities. In common with universities of the pre-modern era, Glasgow originally educated students primarily from wealthy backgrounds. However, it became a pioneer in British higher education in the 19th century by also providing for the needs of students from the growing urban and commercial middle class. Glasgow served all of these students by preparing them for professions: the law, medicine, civil service, teaching, and the church. It also trained smaller but growing numbers for careers in science and engineering. Originally located in the city's High Street, since 1870 the main university campus has been located at Gilmore Hill in the west end of the city. Additionally, a number of university buildings are located elsewhere, such as the University Marine Biological Station Millport on the island of Cumbrae in the Firth of Clyde and the Crichton campus in Dumfries. Alumni or former staff of the university include philosopher Francis Hutcheson, engineer James Watt, philosopher and economist Adam Smith, physicist Lord Kelvin, surgeon Joseph Lister, 1st Baron Lister, 7 Nobel laureates, and 2 British Prime Ministers. History. The University of Glasgow was founded in 1451 aided by a charter or papal bull from Pope Nicholas V, at the suggestion of King James II, giving Bishop William Turnbull, a graduate of the University of St Andrews, permission to add a university to the city's cathedral. It is the second oldest university in Scotland after St Andrews and the fourth oldest in the English-speaking world. The universities of St Andrews, Glasgow and Aberdeen were ecclesiastical foundations, while Edinburgh was a civic foundation. As one of the ancient universities of the United Kingdom, Glasgow University is one of only 8 institutions to award undergraduate master's degrees in certain disciplines. The university has been without its original bull since the mid-16th century. In 1560, during the political unrest accompanying the Scottish Reformation, the then-Chancellor, Archbishop James Beaton, a supporter of the Marian cause, fled to France. He took with him, for safekeeping, many of the archives and valuables of the cathedral and the university, including the mace and the bull. Although the mace was sent back in 1590, the archives were not. Principal Dr. James Fall told the Parliamentary Commissioners of Visitation on 28 August 1690, that he had seen the bull at the Scots College in Paris, together with the many charters granted to the university by the monarchs of Scotland from James II to Mary, Queen of Scots. The university inquired of these documents in 1738 but was informed by Thomas Innes and the superiors of the Scots College that the original records of the foundation of the university were not to be found. If they had not been lost by this time, they certainly went astray during the French Revolution when the Scots College was under threat. Its records and valuables were moved for safekeeping out of the city of Paris. The bull remains the authority by which the university awards degrees. Teaching at the university began in the chapter house of Glasgow Cathedral, subsequently moving to nearby Rotten Row, in a building known as the Old Pedagogy. The university was given 13 acres of land belonging to the Blackfriars on High Street by Mary, Queen of Scots, in 1563. By the late 17th century, the university building centered on 2 courtyards surrounded by walled gardens, with a clock tower, which was one of the notable features of Glasgow's skyline, and a chapel adapted from the church of the former Dominican friary. Remnants of this Scottish Renaissance building, mainly parts of the main facade, were transferred to the Gilmore Hill campus and renamed as the Pierce Lodge, after Sir William Pierce. the shipbuilding magnate who funded its preservation. The Lion and Unicorn staircase was also transferred from the old college site and is now attached to the main building. John Anderson, while professor of natural philosophy at the university, and with some opposition from his colleagues, pioneered vocational education for working men and women during the Industrial Revolution. To continue this work in his will, he founded Anderson's College, which was associated with the university before merging with other institutions to become the University of Strathclyde in 1964. In 1973, Delphine Parrott became its first woman professor, as Gardner Professor of Immunology. In October 2014, the University Court voted for the university to become the first academic institution in Europe to divest from the fossil fuel industry. Campus. The university is currently spread over a number of different campuses. The main one is the Gilmore Hill campus, in Hillhead. As well as this, there is the Garscube Estate in Bearsden, housing the veterinary school, observatory, ship model basin and much of the university's sports facilities, the dental school in the city centre, the section of mental health and well-being at Gartnavel Royal Hospital on Great Western Road, the Teaching and Learning Centre at the South Glasgow University Hospital, and the Crichton campus in Dumfries. The university has also established joint departments with the Glasgow School of Art and in Naval Architecture with the University of Strathclyde. High Street. The university's initial accommodation was part of the complex of religious buildings in the precincts of Glasgow Cathedral. In 1460, the university received a grant of land from James, Lord Hamilton, on the east side of the High Street, immediately north of the Blackfriars Church, on which it had its home for the next 400 years. In the mid-17th century, the Hamilton building was replaced with a very grand two-court building with a decorated west front facing the High Street, called the Nova Erectio, or New Building. In Sir Walter Scott's best-selling 1817 novel Rob Roy, set at the time of the first Jacobite uprising of 1715, the lead character fights a duel in the new building grounds before the contest is broken up by Rob Roy McGregor. Over the following centuries, the university's size and scope continued to expand. In 1757 it built the Macfarlane Observatory and later Scotland's first public museum, the Hunterian. It was a centre of the Scottish Enlightenment and subsequently of the Industrial Revolution, and its expansion in the High Street was constrained. The area around the university declined as well-off residents moved westwards with expansion of the city and overcrowding of the immediate area by less well-off residents. It was this rapid slumming of the area that was a chief catalyst of the university's migration westward. Gilmore Hill. Consequently, in 1870, it moved to a site on Gilmore Hill in the west end of the city, around 3 miles west of its previous location, enclosed by a large meander of the River Kelvin. The original site on the High Street was sold to the City of Glasgow Union Railway and replaced by the College Goods Yard. The new build campus was designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott in the Gothic Revival style. The largest of these buildings echoed, on a far grander scale, the original High Street campus's twin quadrangle layout, and may have been inspired by Ypres' late medieval Cloth Hall. Gilmore Hill in turn inspired the design of the Clock Tower complex of buildings for the new University of Otago in New Zealand. In 1879, Gilbert Scott's son, Aldra, completed this original vision by building an open undercroft forming 2 quadrangles, above which is his Grand Butte Hall. Aldra also later added a spire to the building's signature Gothic bell tower in 1887, bringing it to a total height of some 85 metres. The local Bishop Briggs blonde sandstone cladding and Gothic design of the building's exterior belie the modernity of its Victorian construction. Scott's building is structured upon what was then a cutting-edge riveted iron frame construction, supporting a lightweight wooden beam roof. The building also forms the second largest example of Gothic Revival architecture in Britain, after the Palace of Westminster. An illustration of the main building currently features on the reverse side of the current series of £100 notes issued by the Clydesdale Bank. The university's Hunterian Museum resides in the main building, and the related Hunterian Gallery is housed in buildings adjacent to the University Library. The latter includes the Macintosh House, a rebuilt terraced house designed by and furnished after architect Charles Rennie Macintosh. Even these enlarged premises could not contain the expanding university, which quickly spread across much of Gilmore Hill. The 1930s saw the construction of the award-winning Round Reading Room and an aggressive program of house purchases, in which the university acquired several terraces of Victorian houses and joined them together internally. The departments of psychology, computing science and most of the arts faculty continue to be housed in these terraces. More buildings were built to the west of the main building, developing the land between University Avenue and the River Kelvin with natural science buildings and the Faculty of Medicine. The medical school spread into neighboring Partick and joined with the Western Infirmary. At the eastern flank of the main building, the James Watt Engineering Building was completed in 1959. The growth and prosperity of the city, which had originally forced the university's relocation to Hillhead, again proved problematic when more real estate was required. The School of Veterinary Medicine, which was founded in 1862, moved to a new campus in the leafy surrounds of Glasgow Estate, around 2 miles west of the main campus, in 1954. The university later moved its sports ground and associated facilities to Glasgow and also built student halls of residence in both Glasgow and Maryhill. The growth of tertiary education, as a result of the Robbins Report in the 1960s, led the university to build numerous modern buildings across Hillhead, including several brutalist concrete blocks, the Mathematics Building, the Boyd Law Building and the Adam Smith Building. Other additions around this time, including the new glass-lined Glasgow University Library, Rankin Building for Civil Engineering and the amber brick Gregory Building, were more in keeping with Gilmore Hill's leafy suburban architecture. The erection of these buildings in the late 1960s, however, involved the demolition of a large number of houses in Ashton Road, and rerouting the west end of University Avenue to its current position. To cater for the expanding student population, a new refectory, known as the Hub, was opened adjacent to the library in 1966. The Glasgow University Union also had an extension completed in 1965 and the new Queen Margaret Union Building opened in 1969. In October 2001, the century-old Bauer Building was gutted by fire. The interior and roof of the building were largely destroyed, though the main facade remained intact. After a £10.8 million refit, the building reopened in November 2004. The Wolfson Medical School Building, with its award-winning glass-fronted atrium, opened in 2002, and in 2003, the St Andrews Building was opened, housing the Faculty of Education. It is sited a short walk from Gilmore Hill, in the Woodlands area of the city on the site of the former Queen's College, which had in turn been bought by Glasgow Caledonian University, from whom the university acquired the site. It replaced the St Andrews campus in Bearsden. The university also procured the former Hillhead Congregational Church, converting it into a lecture theatre in 2005. The Sir Alwyn Williams Building, designed by Rich and Hall, was completed at Lilybank Terrace in 2007, housing the School of Computing Science. Chapel. The University Chapel was constructed as a memorial to the 755 sons of the university who had lost their lives in the First World War. Designed by Sir John Burnett, it was completed in 1929 and dedicated on the 4th of October. Tablets on the wall behind the communion table list the names of those who died. while other tablets besides the stalls record the 405 members of the university community who gave their lives in the Second World War. Most of the windows are the work of Douglas Strachan, although some have been added over the years, including those on the south wall, created by Alan Younger. Daily services are held in the chapel during term time, as well as seasonal events. Before Christmas, there is a service of 9 lessons and carols on the last Sunday of term, and a watch night service on Christmas Eve. Graduates, students, members of staff and the children of members of staff are entitled to be married in the chapel, which is also used for baptisms and funerals. Civil marriages and civil partnerships may be blessed in the chapel, although under UK law may not be performed there. The current chaplain of the university is the Reverend Stuart Macquarie, and the university appoints honorary chaplains of other denominations. Library and Archives. The University Library, situated on Hillhead Street opposite the main building, is one of the oldest and largest libraries in Europe. Situated over 12 floors, it holds more than 2.5 million books and journals, as well as providing access to an extensive range of electronic resources including over 30,000 electronic journals. It also houses sections for periodicals, microfilms, special collections and rare materials. Open between 7 a.m. and 2 a.m. 361 days of the year, the library provides a resource not only for the academic community in Glasgow, but also for scholars worldwide. There are study spaces for more than 2,500 students, with over 800 computers, and Wi-Fi access is available throughout the building. In addition to the main library, subject libraries also exist for medicine, chemistry, dental medicine, veterinary medicine, education, law, and the Faculty of Social Sciences, which are held in branch libraries around the campus. In 2007, a state-of-the-art section to house the library's collection of historic photographs was opened, funded by the Wolfson Foundation. The archives of the University of Glasgow are the central place of deposit for the records of the university, created and accumulated since its foundation in 1451. Crichton Campus, Dumfries. The university opened a campus in the town of Dumfries in Dumfries and Galloway during the 1980s. The Crichton Campus, designed to meet the needs for tertiary education in an area far from major concentrations of population, is operated jointly by the University of Glasgow, the University of the West of Scotland and the Open University. It offers a modular undergraduate curriculum, leading to one of a small number of liberal arts degrees, as well as providing the region's only access to postgraduate study. Non-teaching facilities. As well as these teaching campuses, the university has halls of residence in and around the northwest of the city, accommodating a total of approximately 3,500 students. These are the Murano Street Halls in Maryhill, Wolfson Halls on the Garscube Estate, Queen Margaret Halls in Kelvinside, Cairncross House and Kelvin Hallgate in York Hill. In recent years, Dalrymple House and Horselevel Halls in Dowen Hill, Reeth Halls in North Kelvinside and the Maclay Halls in Park Circus have closed and been sold, as the development value of such property increased. The Stevenson Building on Gilmore Hill, opened in 1961 and provides students with the use of a fitness suite, squash courts, sauna and 6-lane 25-meter swimming pool. The university also has a large sports complex on the Garscube Estate, beside their Wolfson Halls and Beth School. This is a new facility, replacing the previous Westerland Sports Ground in the Anniesland area of the city, which was sold for housing. The university also has use of half of the East Boathouse situated at Glasgow Green on the River Clyde, where Glasgow University Boat Club train.